Here's Brody Brazil.
You know, back in the day with so much going on and so many news items to discuss, I would have made several different videos about each of these topics and gone in a little bit further with them. But because it's the ATH here in 2025, I'm just going to kind of cover everything all at once. It was a busy week for the Sacramento Athletics. What are we even calling them? And can you believe this is actually a shirt that's being sold at spring training in Arizona for $35 nonetheless, but it bears the ATH branding like bold across the chest. Normally a franchise that doesn't have a home to call home right now wouldn't be publicizing the fact that their identifier doesn't go to a city like, every other team does. Anyway, I can't believe that this was a shirt, this was made, this was okayed, and that somebody would buy that. Maybe a collector's item to signify the times if this is something that you're into. Anyway, a busy week, and so let's get into topic by topic. New renderings came out for the ballpark. Now, these are very similar to the ones that we had seen in the prior round. They're a little bit more advanced. I guess I give credit to the fact that not much has changed. Maybe they've settled in on a plan and a design, but there's also this. It doesn't necessarily offer more vision. It doesn't offer more clarity about the site and space and how do you fit all this in 9 acres. Like, it doesn't really tell the logistics side of it. And I understand that's what blueprints do versus renderings, but we haven't necessarily seen those blueprints, just these renderings. And so it's not much. Again, it's not a development. It's not an eye-opener because we've seen all of these things before. And I don't know that it progresses the story a whole lot more other than saying, this is still what they want to do. This is still what they're planning. It also doesn't offer the opportunity to understand or know anything that surrounds this site from the exterior. Yeah, there's a couple new vantage points of a club level there and some club seating. And I know that they have some other ones that they'll slowly be releasing out in the upcoming days and weeks. But the point is, it just doesn't offer you the most important things like what surrounds this. How does this all work and how does this all fit on the small site? So the new renderings, again, nothing eye-catching in terms of being different or something you didn't expect. It all kind of falls in line with what we've already seen. Nothing really new here. How about the $19.01 reservation that you can make with the A's? You can join a waitlist for season tickets in Las Vegas. But can you really join a waitlist? Because if you read the fine print here, and I was curious about what this was. Is this a deposit? Is this a reservation for a spot? Like, is this a timed out thing? Like they do it in order of who signed up first? Here's what the fine print says about $19.01. The Athletics make no representation, warranty, or guarantee that tickets will be available to you for any particular event or particular number of events. You understand that purchasing priority access does not place you on a numbered waitlist or provide specific priority in terms of when you'll be contacted or which tickets, if any, may be available to you. So you're joining a wait list with no priority. It's all random. I guess they will put Aviators, season ticket holders, and Clark County residents ahead of everybody else. I'm not sure what this is. I do know that if there's 20,000 wait list reservations accepted, and maybe they'll just shoot it up to 50,000. Who knows? I think 20,000, if I'm doing the math right, would generate about $400,000. Where's that going? Apparently it says it's going to support local youth baseball and sports. Well, it wasn't really clear there either. Is all of that money going to local youth baseball and sports? If so, that's a great thing. But it wasn't clear. Maybe $4,000 go. Maybe $40,000 go. Maybe who knows how much goes. But again, going back to the wait list, and the 1901 is a representation of the A's being established as a professional team in Philadelphia in 1901. So that's why they're keeping it sub $20. And I understand this is not, $20 is not a make or break for a lot of people who will be doing this. But what exactly is the point? Is the point here to try and make a connection and a promise and build a bridge between the team and potential fans in Las Vegas? Is it to gauge interest? What is this to do? If it doesn't put a fan in any priority, why would they even spend almost $20 just to be on a wait list that is not organized by any shape or form or means? Read the fine print on that one. It's just really interesting. The A's also in the past week hired a new president to replace Dave Kaval, who announced his departure at the end of December. It seems like maybe unofficially his departure was before that. Marc Badain was president of the Oakland Raiders turned Las Vegas Raiders. He was dismissed amidst some controversy in 2021. And even as recently as 2023, he was working for the Oakview Group, which was desperately trying to bring, and still is, I think, an NBA team to Las Vegas. So he's been around Las Vegas. He's been around the Raiders. In 2023, though, he didn't really have complimentary things to say about the baseball team that he's now president of.
The issues between the Raiders and the A's are pretty well documented. Frankly, I think Mark was diplomatic. This is a small industry, and you compete on the field, but you expect a level of honesty and professionalism that just didn't exist. And so those feelings are going to persist, and I don't know how long it will take before they're gone. So with that out of the way, I don't know the answer to that. What I know the answer to is I went to the Sphere last night, and I know what we put into building Allegiant Stadium. And you better build something special here. I know what we're doing for the arena. You can't just build some cookie cutter facility. So you have to come up with something dynamic and something that's going to draw attention and is going to be worthy of this market.
Now, in fairness to Mark, I don't disagree with anything that he said there. And I don't know about his past specifically with the football team. And so this is not a knock against Mark at all. It's just that it's so weird to be hiring somebody so close to Las Vegas, but maybe not. I mean, he does have experience down there in Southern Nevada, but somebody who had such a rub or a conflict with the A's and said this about them. He was asked about this, in fairness. This wasn't him going out of his way to talk about this. He was asked there by Howard Stutz of the Nevada Independent about the entire situation. So I was just doing justice with the response, but again, this just has a different feel to it than maybe what you would have expected of who is next as team president. But you can understand his background, his knowledge of Las Vegas, certainly all plays into that. Now, before I mention the uncertainty regarding Bally's and the rest of this stadium site, the ballpark is supposed to take up 9 acres. It's a 35-acre site. So what about the other 26? Well, that is the responsibility of Bally's. And if you look at their stock, right, as a company that does just more than Las Vegas, they're in Chicago trying to build a casino. They were trying to also, I think, get a gambling license in New York. But this is from last week, the 5th of March. Their stock in one day fell 24%. And they had an earnings call, which was supposed to take place on the 5th at 4:30 Eastern Time, and they canceled it. Again, this kind of is independent of the stadium project and what the A's are going to do, but it's also not. I mean, this is the same site. This is the same master plan that they're trying to develop, and the infrastructure from the casino and hotel that Bally's was supposed to do would play right into the stadium. I'm not sure how much you can really do entirely one without the other. It's one property, and the stadium is supposed to go right in the middle of this property. At first, it was going to be one corner. Then they said, well, actually, it's going to be more, instead of the southeast corner, now it's going to be closer to the center, if not more closer to the northwest. The point is, this is not good to have your partner in such a dire situation that they're probably not going to be able to move forward with the rest of the project. And again, if the A's were counting on, and we don't know any of this, if they were counting on Bally's to be part of the funding, part of the infrastructure, part of the site, part of the development, part of the timeline, who knows? They're not even talking anymore about this. They were never giving a ton of details. They did put out some renderings, but they were very primitive in terms of details or any other revelations. So Bally's stock is an interesting part of the last week. And here's good news for Lawrence Butler. Let me stop right here and say, detaching from how anybody feels about the A's or their move or relocation, you can't not love Lawrence Butler. I do. The Law Dog got paid this past week. Susan Slusser's report gives a little bit more detail on how the extension plays out, though. $65.5 million for 7 years. It can actually max out for $87.5 million. Congratulations, Law. That is awesome. But there is one thing that I wanted to point out here with the contract, and that's why I'm using Susan's tweet. I mean, it is so back-heavy here. If you look at the signing bonus, great, $3 million. In 2025, he'll be making $2.25. For the type of season he had and is probably about to have this upcoming year, it seems below market value. And then eventually it goes up by $1 million. And then eventually it goes up to $5 million by 2027. Maybe if Las Vegas really is a thing by 2028, $8 million. Then he finally gets into 8 figures in 2029. And then it goes up to $16 million by 2031. Bottom line is here, those $1 million markers in the first couple years, that's not necessarily like an even flow of the contract. It's so back heavy, it makes me wonder, not for Lawrence, like he's going to get the money. Good for him, great for him. But like, I wonder what the A's are thinking here, that they can't connect, they can't commit like they want to right now with him. They're trying to hope and pray that eventually someday they're in that better financial situation, and $10 million and $14 and $16 million are no big deal. Again, if this were evenly spaced out now, I would say, all right, like they mean business. But because it's so back heavy, like it probably shouldn't be that way for Lawrence. Like I think his career trajectory is not going to equate to that. I think his trajectory is going to take off better than the money he's getting in the next couple of years. But bottom line, so long as he gets it, he has a great career. For him, that's all I care about. I'm just saying from the team side, it's interesting, right? And then the big one, the most recent one, the patch off. Like, what a situation here. The A's said when they went to Sacramento and are going to Sacramento that they would not wear it across their chest. It would be athletics on the jerseys. That's it. And in fact, don't even call them the Sacramento A's, which I sometimes just have to do. I mean, it has to happen that way. It's not natural to just call a team by a team name here in North America. There is a city and there is a team name. So they decided they would be wearing the Sacramento patch on not the primary shoulder. Like if a right-handed batter's at the plate, it'll be their right shoulder that Sacramento is on because the camera won't face it. But the Las Vegas patch is going to be the one that the camera faces on the primary shoulder and sleeve of every batter and player and pitcher. And the Las Vegas patch is now going to appear, and we should be very clear. This is not the A's putting a logo of Las Vegas or just something they made up. That logo, that is a logo, I should say, of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. And they are paying the A's, reportedly from the New York Times and The Athletic, I think it's $2 to $3 million per season for the next 3 years to wear that patch. This is not, we're just doing this as a sign and as a slogan. This is a sponsored thing. It's also a bare minimum sponsor. Apparently the Yankees get $25 million a year for a patch on their jerseys. Again, they're the Yankees, but $25 for them, $2 to $3 million for the patch. That basically, by the way, covers Lawrence Butler's salary for the next couple of years. They say they're doing this as a commitment to showing, like wearing a heart on their sleeve of where their future home's going to be. And maybe that's why they connected with the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. But make no mistake, this is a sponsored advertisement on the sleeve. The one patch they will not be wearing, and sorry it was on your screen for so long without me crossing it out, the elephant is gone. I also thought there was going to be a Ricky 24 patch on the shoulder and on the sleeve. But maybe that'll be on the chest. We don't know that yet. It hasn't been confirmed. But here's the big thing. How many times in sports have you ever had a jersey with patches on both sides? Now, that happens sometimes. A person passes away and they want to honor that person. Patches on both sides for 3 years, but they say 2 different city names. The A's said they didn't want to do Sacramento as their brand or identity. Then they put a Sacramento patch on. And then while in Sacramento, you're thinking, all right, maybe they can just do this for now and that's fine. But now they've got Las Vegas on the other one. It's almost like competing brands and competing situations. And look, Las Vegas is supposed to be the forever home and Sacramento is supposed to be the interim. But why are we confusing all of this? Like, we got too many patches going on, too much competition here. And that, I think, is no surprise to the trajectory of all of this. It doesn't always make sense, and it never has. But here's what's missing, by the way. Out of all these news items, here's some things we still don't know. An official groundbreaking date, right? It's supposed to be Q2 of 2025. Well, we're almost there. April's right around the corner. That would start the window. I would think June would be the end of that window. So, I mean, within the next 30 to, 100 days or so, we should see shovels in the ground. We probably before that need to see funding assurance for construction to begin. Right? The first $100 million has to be spent by the team before the public money kicks in. That, as far as I know, hasn't happened yet. Like, at some point it needs to start the process, to start the groundbreaking. There have been some permits filed for site leveling and pre-work to be done. But again, groundbreaking is the official thing. But really, before you do groundbreaking, you also kind of need to have that development agreement with Clark County, not with the Convention and Visitors Authority, not with the stadium board, like with Clark County. From my understanding, and the reporting of the Las Vegas Review-Journal, which seems to have a pretty good inside track, that is not complete yet. And neither are FAA approvals. You're right next to the airport. This was something that was supposed to be hashed out. Just get the approval, move on, be done with it. Apparently they haven't got that yet. So those are some major things that are still outstanding. And again, more than anything, I'm just keeping an eye on two things. As much as all that was mentioned and all those developments happened, renderings, a new president, another big contract, patches, $19.01, all that stuff, groundbreaking and funding are the two things that really only matter at this point. And I'll do an update on that next. But that's kind of the one that you should be keeping an eye out for. That's the end of this video. Thumbs up down below. Appreciate that. Helps me, this video, and this channel. And don't forget to also go down there and subscribe so I can definitely see you back here next time.